How are you, sir?
Good, mate. Good,
Power's
good.
back
How
on,
are
which is
you?
nice. Yeah.
How
No,
are
I'm
you?
good. Good.
Great, great.
Just having it's just the evening in Tokyo.
In Tokyo, how's the Tokyo run been going?
Great. Great.
Yeah?
I We had the last 2 days off. We fly tomorrow to Australia. So
Hmm.
I spent the last 2 days guitar shopping. I didn't
Awesome.
buy anything though.
Oh, no fines? No good fines?
No, there was a couple close calls, but I've been looking for some pretty specific stuff. So I had to go to
Hmm.
a lot of places to see only a few things.
Right.
But I have a I don't know, I want to say a fetish, but I have a strong as of the last few years. I really want to get either a Greco or Aria BC Rich copy from
Mm,
between
mm.
78 and 82, and an Ibanez artist from 78 to 82. All the cool stuff.
Very specific year range. Any rationale behind that, or you just kind of getting the collection, or what's the go there?
Well, it's like the BC Rich copies are made nearly as good as the BC Riches from that era,
Yeah, fair,
and
fair. Yeah.
I can afford them, as
Mm.
opposed to the BC Riches where I cannot afford them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, and the Ibanez artists were made in the Matsumoto factory, and they're all
Mm,
really like well made guitars.
mm.
And yeah, I always liked that shape,
Awesome.
and it's cool.
Awesome.
It's like an SG that doesn't neck dive, and it's a bit like a Les Paul, but I had a couple Les Pauls that got stolen, and I probably
Oh,
won't ever own another one because I
oh,
lost the one I loved. So,
dude, oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's tragic. Losing a Les
well,
Paul. Oh, how long ago was that?
I lost three, but yeah,
Oh my
they were all
God.
my birth year, which was fun.
Oh, dude. My God. Oh, commiserations. That's the loveliest way to sort of start a chat about the old tour, but I can tell you why you're guitar
Uh,
shopping then. How's the response to the Japan shows been? Like how have people been responding, seeing you guys
it
coming
was
back?
awesome. I had one of the most fun times I've
Yeah?
ever had here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
for
so
sure.
good. That's
It
so
was
good.
it was great. The last time we were here, it was just like a single festival show. This time we got to
Mm,
play some clubs, and it was a lot of fun.
hell
A
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Awesome. Were they pretty rowdy in the venues, like pretty energetic?
Yeah, they were. It was really cool. It
Oh,
was
that's
really cool.
awesome. That's awesome. And speaking of tours, mate,
A lot of
like,
happy faces.
oh, that's great. That's great. Speaking of tours too, I sort of I almost couldn't believe it. Like I'd seen you guys at Soundwave and it was like I am not that is no one is clashing with me with you guys have poisoned the well and I was straight into that pit. And that's 17 years. 17 years. That is
Hmm.
that is a long amount of time, man. That's a long amount of time since you guys have been back to Australia.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I think for all of us, we didn't think that we were ever gonna like we'll play a couple shows here and there,
Yeah.
and that'll be it, and then we won't, and a very sort of matter of fact way to do the band, which was fine for
Yeah.
us for a minute, and then I
Mm.
think once we started writing music, we were like, well, let's just go on a tour. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, compared to the way we used to tour, it's not the same. It's much
Mm.
more, you know, low impact
Yeah, more low
at our
impact. Yeah.
advanced years.
You
Yeah,
guys don't have
but
to grind it. You guys don't have to black flag it and grind it out in the van for weeks on end.
I just don't think that all the some of us have one of us has kids. I have a pretty intense and demanding job. It's like
Mm. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
fit in what we can fit in, and we're happy to do it.
Mm. And I think that's an important reality that like people don't sort of see like what people will see an upcoming tour like and go, oh my God, Poison the Well's back, da 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 da. Not realizing that in that intervening time, like you guys have had, like we sort of have the stereotype of oh that person's in a band, they're just living that lifestyle. But actually, I mean, look at the changes in the music industry since you guys were here between then and now. Like so much has changed in the
Hmm.
musical landscape as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of when did you guys sort of, was it around like with the new LP, and was it around the time that you guys were, was it sort of pre or post the album being produced, the new album being produced, or was it a bit earlier than that? What sort of around about what sort of timeline did you guys start thinking, you know what, we should actually probably get this show back on the road?
Um, Probably right after the first round of sessions for the record.
Mm,
We After that we were like, all right, well, let's just go on a tour and maybe it will help us write and we'll be inspired or something like that. But
mm,
then it was rad. It was a fun tour. And then when we came home to finish the record, I definitely found myself reinvigorated and
yeah,
uh, was making music that I felt better about.
yeah, that's
So that
fantastic.
was helpful.
So you guys are actually new album's fantastic too, by the way, man. But on this
Oh,
tour, you
thanks.
guys are you guys are busting out some of the classics, so I hear.
Yeah, we'll be playing the whole first full length
Oh,
and some other various selections of joy.
it's right.
Yeah, it's not just
You don't
it's
have to
not
keep the
just
reveal.
the
Yeah.
first album. You know,
Mm.
it's just a smattering of you know, not hits, but songs that people might know.
B-sides and deep cuts.
Probably no deep cuts,
Okay.
but we'll see.
That's all right. Your secret's safe with us. So in terms of going back to opposite of December, with that being like it's obviously a bit like a lot of people herald that as such like a landmark album. In the process of you guys like getting back to those songs and rehearsing, have you noticed like anything sort of come up for you guys in like jamming those songs or preparing for the tour? Like has it brought up like a lot of like nostalgia or any sort of like interesting sort of emotions or
Nothing interesting. I think as we rehearse them and start playing them live, sometimes, you know, we're just like, oh, we should play that faster or we should play that slower. Um, but not, no, I don't think nostalgia comes from the songs for us.
yeah.
I think we still just really like the songs.
Yeah.
I think we're all
Yeah.
still, you know, I
And
don't, none of us are just like, oh, this fucking song again.
so
I
do
have
you
one part that's like that. There's like one part of one song where and it's not, it's nothing to do with not liking it. It's just hard to play. And
right, right.
I'm just like, "Nah, I don't want to do this anymore."
Do we get
But
any
I
hints
do
on
it
what
and
that
it's
is, or are
fine.
we just gonna let that one slide and let people see which one
It's
it
just
is?
this one part. It's this one part at the end of a song called "Not Within Arm's Length." It's just
Hmm.
tremolo picking for an extended amount of time, and I'm just like, God, I was listening to a lot of black metal back then.
Yeah, the
Like
16th notes can get
really,
pretty
like
rusty.
yeah, really resenting myself for listening to like Dark Throne and
Dark
things
Funeral
like
and
Immolation and
yep,
stuff.
yep, that sort of stuff. Um, so that's that. I guess that's an interesting point too, because with the new album, I find like I find that it is a lot
And you
more
were
sort
right;
of
it would have been Dark Funeral because I really love that record,
yeah,
Panzerfast, a lot. So
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, how good is Dominator on drums? My God, he's a drum lord.
good stuff.
Do
But
you find that like extreme metal influence is still quite like how much do you find that like the lion's share of like that heavier sort of extreme metal stuff is like is that still quite about an even sort of influence in your sound? Like what are you kind of your current influences? You mentioned a bit of black metal. What else has been sort of creeping in the mix there for your playing?
I think it's always like the world's most obtuse stew in my brain of
Yeah,
music.
yeah,
I tend to fly around to a lot of different areas.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was doing another interview and I was talking. There's this uh, early '80s Milwaukee punk band that I've known about for forever, but during the process of making the last record, like this one song had come back up in rotation, and I remember I think I listened to it 100 times in like the
Damn.
span of a month. I
Wow.
get obsessive about songs like that
Yeah.
for some reason.
Same part of the
So,
brain that's
and then,
going hunting for the BC riches, maybe.
probably, but I don't know. I don't know. Some songs I find really evocative internally,
Mm,
so I
mm, mm,
tend to like listen to them over and over and over again.
mm, mm.
But same thing, as much as I was listening to that, I was listening to this one song on this a Speedy West record of Hawaiian lap steel music.
Hell yeah. But
So
I think that reflects in your guys' songwriting because you've got a lot of elements of like post-hardcore and you've got some heavier stuff and some like breakdowns and it's a little bit it is a little bit of a diverse spread of everything. Does that
I
help like
try
keep
to.
it does it help keep it fresh for you guys like in terms of like songwriting and getting keen for touring and that sort of thing?
I think so, and I also
Mm,
think part of it comes from the desire to try to be try to be diverse in the sort of communication of emotion because
mm,
it's not like always a black or white thing for me. There's a
mm,
lot of different shades of things. So sometimes I kind of focus on, wanting something to sound frustrated.
mm,
It needs something else than wanting to sound something for something to sound like angry, right?
mm, mm.
I think there's a lot of dichotomy there.
Yeah. Do you find that that translates much like on the stage? Because you guys do, I do find that you guys have quite like people might take a look at, look or listen to Poison and go, oh, that's, quote unquote screamo, but it actually is quite emotive, like lyrically, musically. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that on stage, like even after all this time with the old material, like some of that like emotive connection
Yeah,
still
for
there when you're
sure.
playing? Yeah.
There are some parts that I did notice where I was just like, this still makes me feel the same way it made me feel in 1998 when I wrote this riff, or 1999, whatever, you know. And it still makes me have like the same physical and internal reaction.
That's so interesting, isn't it? That like you write a riff and you're thinking like I'm going to write an album, and yet like just the way the brain works and everything that you can still have that impact this far on. I feel like people are going to have like a similar effect in terms of when they see your show because obviously the opposite is quite big for some of the old heads. Have you noticed any sorts of differences, say, with like the demographic of your crowd? Like, are you noticing like a pretty even spread, like a lot of younger kids coming, or is it fairly mixed or
I don't know if I paid attention to it a lot
yeah,
enough
fair.
to really like have a metric on it,
Mm.
but I did notice, seeing younger kids that I'm just like records older than you are, right? And feeling extremely privileged and, having this sense of gratitude that I could be part of something that still communicates to people,
Mm,
you
mm,
know? Like
mm.
such a people that are the same age that this band found my ears are finding this band in their ears this far away is a really big privilege, and I feel extremely lucky to have that happen. And it is awful confusing sometimes where I'm just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is my life. Like, this is nuts.
Does it feel like you got with that like multi-generational like spread of fans? Do you feel like it's like a legacy as well, like a continuing legacy, like people still getting into it, that sort of thing?
Legacy is such a difficult word.
Yeah, I know.
uh,
Yeah, true.
I think I don't think I have enough. I don't think of I don't think that much of myself to think of it as a legacy. I think I'm part of something
Mm,
that is still means something to people,
mm,
and I don't know if that equals a legacy or if that equals just being fortunate enough to make something at a time where it made sense and that it still makes sense for some people.
mm,
you
mm,
know I guess
mm.
technically by the definition of a legacy it means it is, but I don't
Yeah.
feel that. It
Okay.
feels a little bit of it puts me out of sorts, that's for sure.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like a bit of a loaded word, but I guess in terms of going more towards the future, the very, very imminent future in the upcoming tour, which I'm very excited about. Do you have any thoughts about like coming back to Australia and coming back to our land after, geez, 17 years? Is there anything in particular like you're kind of intrigued at or looking forward to with regards to coming
I,
back to
I
Australia?
I think the same thing I look forward to all the time. Look forward to meeting people, having
Mm.
conversations that I wouldn't normally have, seeing different perspectives, seeing different places. Um, yeah, I think I still have all the same things that I've always had, and I think it's a bit high stakes, like at home in the States for us, like we've had the chance to play a couple shows and like, you know, but you don't, you go somewhere and then you don't come back for 17 years. Like, what if we're terrible? And people just be like, yeah, you spent all that time and came back and it was miserable. Great. And, there's a little anxiety based in that.
But it sounds pushing back on that a bit, mate. Do you think that the recent run of Japan shows is a bit of counter evidence against that? Like you sounding like you guys are pretty satisfied, like you're pretty satisfied with how they went.
Oh, for sure. But, tomorrow's a new day for me to fuck things up. So,
Ah, we'll be there for you either way, mate. And I'm sure it's going to be fine. And I am looking well forward to catching you guys when you tour. So thank you again for eventually catching up
which
with me.
show, which show will you be at?
The Melbourne show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And
Me too.
quite a good spread of like local and like I really like the spread of acts you guys have got on the bill. If we
Yeah,
had
I'm pretty excited about both.
a very Poison the Well influenced and inspired bands on a Poison the Well tour. So I think that's a nice way of kind of tying the knot together as loosely as my brain can. Like I would say my comment would be that I can hear the Poison the Well influence in the bands that are on the tour. So there you go.
Oh,
There's the legacy
cool.
wrap up. But thank you very much for your time, man. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. And I am looking forward
Appreciate you.
to rocking out with you guys once again. And I
Yeah.
can't believe it's been 17 years, but I ain't going to look a gift horse in the mouth and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, I'll see you in Melbourne.
All right. Cheers, man. You take it easy.
Have a good one. You too.
You too. Bye. Alrighty, thank you very much to Ryan from Poison the Well for joining me on the podcast, especially after we were supposed to catch up at a certain time. Then the power and the internet cut out, only for us to regroup back. So I am very thankful for Ryan and to Janine Morcos from Dallas Stars PR and Boys in the Well for facilitating that interview, even though at first I kind of disappeared off the map, but I reappeared. And thus, you have a podcast episode. Now, a couple of things. I would like to actually feature a few artists at the end of this episode. I figure just leaving with the interview alone kind of does away with the opportunity for me to showcase and highlight some up and coming bands. But before I do that, I just want to reiterate the forthcoming tour dates for the Poison the Well tour. So the Perth folks, you would have experienced that on the 7th. Adelaide, it is your turn tonight at the Lion Arts Factory with Stressed. I highly recommend checking out Stressed. I've been checking out the support bands. We put out a press release recently with details of the support bands, and they're all good. They're all quite good. I mean, support bands usually are, but it's a solid run. Anyways, I digress. On the 11th, Richie Black from Richie Black Photography and myself are assigned to this one, so we will see you in the pit at 170 Russell with Poison the Well and Supports Ends in Tragedy. That's happening on the 11th in a couple of days. Day after that, they're rocking up to Sydney to play Liberty Hall with Phantoms. Another good band, shout out to Phantoms. 13th, they'll be hitting Newcastle, the King Street Band Room. It's good to see Newey get Poison the Well, get some hardcore gigs. They're going to be playing with local Newcastle hardcore group Cutthroat. And finally, Brisbane will be seeing the tour out at the Princess Theatre with locals Wet Work. So you can find all the tour dates and ticket links, everything you need at innerstrengthcheck.com. www.innerstrengthcheckpodcast.com/blog. I probably shouldn't use our old dead site name for that, but if you go to that link, which will also be in the show notes, we'll have that there for you. Now, rather than interrupt your listening pleasure to taper off this episode, I thought that I would just get all of my things out of the way at the moment. So one of the things that came across my bow, Fridays are usually pretty busy in terms of release dates. Italian punk hardcore band Tornado Lobster Killer. I could not go past that band name. And then I saw punk and hardcore. Okay, all right, that might fit a Boys in the Well interview, and it surely does. So they've released a new single and lyric video for Rhya. Apologies if I've pronounced that wrong. RHYA. That has just dropped. So these guys are from Milan, and they have returned with the second single from their forthcoming album, Lobsteria. The first track being Pay to Play. So I do encourage folks to get out there and check out the first single. We're going to be listening to the second one, Rhya. Now, continuing on with my strange botanical flora fauna fixation, apparently, according to my emails. Anyway, another one that, this is kind of what's in a name. Hey guys, this is from India, Man Eating Orchid. And it's a little different, the second track. It's more progressive metal, mathcore. So if you're into like Watchtower, Voivod, Dysrhythmia, Gorguts, Converge, stuff like that, Blotted Science, very kind of techie, mathy sort of stuff. I thought that kind of fits in well with a lot of Ryan and Co.'s songwriting, which, you know, has a lot of elements of discordance, especially the stuff that they're playing on the upcoming tour. So I thought I would give our friends from the South Asian subcontinent, India, a shout. Shout out to Man Eating Orchid. That's some real nerdy tech loving stuff. So that's in the middle there. And finally, from Atlanta, Georgia, we have none other than Trio Apostle, who have released their latest LP, A Splinter in the Infinite Numenon, via Terminus Hate City. I actually thought by the name and the artwork and stuff that it was a trend-setting obscurity record. Goes to show the whole sort of the aesthetic in terms of naming and really cool artwork. It's not specific to one label, I should mention. So this is an interesting one. I thought I would include this one too because across the album, much like a Poison in the Well album, there's elements of things like you've got everything from some moments of black and grind, some hardcore, some sludge, and some different stuff like that. So I'm just going to play these three back to back. So this will be me signing off for the episode and my usual sign off, as always, peace, love, and grindcore. Enjoy the tracks, guys. And if you need to check out more relating to these artists, all the promotional details, artist links, album links, all that good stuff, plus ticket links, tour links, all that great stuff on the website. Go check it out. But for now, I'm going to send you out with some underground stuff. Enjoy, guys, and enjoy the tour.
Resolution crashed against the wall of choice. Now most of it is gone, it used to hide behind your eyes. Once upon a time, forgive the irony you see. All these active masters to sleep under the tree. Culminating acts fading to formless watercolor reveries. It's just a dream of a dream. Moonlight. Murder